Hello, hello world. Hello Facebook. Hello you. Yeah, you watching. Hi. The closest to connection we're gonna get right now. Anyway, here I am, 10 a.m. Thursday, going live as usual. If I didn't schedule it, I would just find excuses to never come on and share anything, and I feel it's good to do that. So I enjoyed last week walking outside, so I'm doing that again. As I woke up this morning and pondered subjects, I wrote down there projections, defenses, and the Hall of Mirrors. Looks like there's some noise down that way. I'm gonna have to turn. Anyway, yeah, like this is the whole game of inauthenticity, right? Like there's, we're constantly projecting things onto people and then having our defenses up and armoring ourselves against the world. And then when we're called on it, we like to try to flip the tables and put it back onto the other person. And that's what I like to call the Hall of Mirrors. It's like, well, where did this start? Wait, we were talking about my thing, and then your thing, and then it was back to my thing, and we never actually get to the source because we're constantly bouncing off and reflecting to the other. I've seen that so many delicious times. It's like, yeah, how do I just look at one issue at a time, one thread at a time? If you're unpacking some issue, some trigger that happened, doesn't mean there's not more influences. There's a codependency aspect, perhaps sometimes, it's like, yeah, I mean, my wound is relating to your wound, and both wounds are getting activated. But if you want to get to the bottom of the source of the wound and help heal it, you really need to look at one at a time so that you're not distracted through the Hall of Mirrors. That's my experience anyway. So you take turns. There always needs to be one adult in the room, is what I like to say. So if my wounded child and your wounded child are both reacting to each other, who's the adult in the room? Because the two wounded kids aren't going to get anywhere. Of course, you could have a therapist or a friend or a community holding space, and that's a whole nother opportunity. And also depends on what your ultimate aim is. If your aim is simply to prevent conflict, say, then you might want to just do some kind of mediation thing, and then the conflict is avoided. But that's all you get. If you want to get to the source of where the wound is, there's a unmet need in that little young child that's inside of you, that happened to you a long time ago. If you can find that wounded child and see, feel, hear, know what that unmet need is, and then meet that need energetically in real time, then you can have the most profound healing and liberation. It's like, yeah, it's like there's just a deep, like that trigger doesn't have to happen anymore, right? It's one thing to just kind of give yourself some numbing agent or painkillers or something when it happens, and then, okay, then you prevent some immediate symptom from exacerbating itself. And it's another thing to have it looks like my car. distractions while walking. But you know, it's another thing to really go to that source. You know, it's like taking the leaves of the weed or getting to the root. And most people, I think, psychologically are dealing with just the leaves. Let's just deal with the result, the external behavior, the conflict, the emotion, the anger. And in a way, those are all symptoms. So how do you do that? It's not easy. I spent 25 plus years doing all kinds of therapies and trainings, and there aren't very many people, even in the healing transformational fields, that really have the capacity to do that, in my experience. To be able to track, see, and feel where is that wounded child inside, and what does it need, and how to meet it. Is that child scared? Is it needing support? Is it, you know, needing a push, some encouragement, or some love, attention, awareness, some presence? Could be a lot of things, but how do you really find that place? Well, it is something I feel I am particularly specialized in. So if any of that resonates with you and you want to hang out, do a session with me, let me know. Or if you have any comments or your own experiences, let me know. Yeah. Anyway, back to my topic of presence or pretenses, defenses. You know, it's like those are all the ways that we adapt as young children to a strange environment intelligently and wisely. You know, it's like we're in some environment we don't really understand and we don't have any control over whatsoever. So we learn that we smile or make mom and dad happy, and they'll still feed us. They won't leave us out in the road to die or something. You know, it's like, but we're like, okay, well, this is who I have to be to survive. So I'm gonna be nice all the time, or I'm gonna throw tantrums to make sure they don't forget about me, or, you know. We do these patterns for the rest of our lives, most of us, because it just becomes our habit, and then we forget why we did it. You know, it wasn't even conscious at the time. Yeah, so healing. Well, anyone have any comments or questions who's watching live? It's nice to walk around. Yeah, just sort of feeling myself, and it's like, okay, how can I drop into my heart, into my solar plexus, into my belly, into my root, feel my embodiment. Guess I'll go ahead and keep this short and sweet. All right. See y'all.